Welcome back to it, guys, man. You're still live here on XA, live on DSTV channel 263 with myself, Mr. Man Mel, just keeping you guys company. I know lots of you guys have been watching. Again, this part of the show we're going to discuss some. Before I get into that, again, just a quick fun fact. But lots of you guys know these 50% of young people are unemployed. And for lots of this reason, I think they're unemployed because of basic skills which they don't possess.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, we need these basic skills in order to be employed, to go forward in life. Hence, this part of the show is...
Plan, people. Thank you for that update there, Mr. Mayor. Plan is all about career guidance, give you guys some tips. If you don't know where you are, where you want to be, this part of the show is very important to give you some guidance. Even I learned, Mr. Mayor learned throughout the show. So right about now, we've got a very cool lady. She is a water lawyer. Yes, people, a water lawyer. I was like, what is a water lawyer? Like lawyer? Water, you defending the water in court. Hey, you will stop just no water for you. So water lawyer in the building, so we want to welcome you. Can you please introduce yourself and please tell us more about yourself and also about the water lawyer thing. I want to know about that.
Firstly, thank you so much for having us today.
Awesome.
We really appreciate it. I'm Amanda. I'm an attorney in the water program at the Center for Environmental Rights.
Lovely.
Just quickly, the Center for Environmental Rights is a non-profit organization. It's an environmental rights law clinic.
Sure.
So as attorneys, we try to strengthen the voice of communities who are experiencing environmental injustices, be it through pollution, through mining, etc. And also to try and hold those companies and also government accountable for those environmental degradations that happen in those communities.
Lovely.
So we are based in Cape Town, but our work extends throughout the country. So my personal focus at the CER, which everybody's asking about, is in the water space.
Okay.
So I'm working on a project that is trying to secure formal legal protection for very small but very unique bodies of our fresh water. So these areas make up about 8% of our land coverage throughout South Africa, but they provide us with more than 50% of our water. So it is unquestionable that they are indeed valuable and they are very important, and we have to try and protect these. They have been referred to as strategic water source areas, and there have been 21 identified throughout the country. So here in the Western Cape, for example, we have a strategic water source area in Table Mountain, which everybody's au fait with. In Mpumalanga, a great example is the Enkangala Drakensberg strategic water source area, which is found within an area which has already been declared protected. It is a Mabola protected environment. But still, that strategic water source area faces threats from coal mining, which is a huge issue in Mpumalanga. So these are the types of things that we're trying to protect our strategic water source areas against. Because our strategic water source areas are very key in terms of water security and water supply, especially for a water scarce country such as ours, which is going through its worst drought in the past 30 years. So that is the kind of work that I'm doing. The role in my project, very briefly, is to firstly research the laws that are best suited for the protection of these strategic water source areas. And then also to engage with government who are the decision makers. We want to see them making use of these laws in order to protect our strategic water source areas. And then lastly, to just raise a greater sense of awareness in our communities on what strategic water source areas are, in order for them to compel government in many different ways.
Because if you don't know, you can't really...
Without knowledge, you don't know. So to compel government to do what it needs to do in order for our constitutional rights to be realized.
Very important job.
Important job.
Yay! Hey!
Listen, I've got two questions for you. As a young girl growing up in KZN, again, it means what were some of your dreams growing up, and then again, how did you kind of get into water law?
Well, actually, my dreams are far from what I'm doing right now.
What did you want to be?
Growing up, I thought to myself, I'd be a nurse.
It's always like that.
I think I've always just had an inherent need to help people. So I've always wanted to be a nurse until I was in grade 5, and I was watching a program. I can't remember what it is, but I remember watching the process of childbirth, and I thought to myself, there is no way. So I quickly changed my dreams. Come grade 6, I realized that for a girl child of my age at that time, and also having the cultural upbringing that I had, I was maybe a bit too talkative, to a point where it would get me into trouble, and I'd have to speak myself out of trouble. So that is how I came about to realize how passionate I am about not only defending myself, but also others, and wanting to speak up on their behalf.
And you're still helping.
Exactly, helping them in that way and being their voice. And so I've looked into law since then, and I've never turned back.
So then you studied LLB at the university, So did you know after school you're going to do law? Was it like...
So since I've been young in grade 6, I've always wanted to do law. Just for that reason, I wanted to be able to help people in that way. And so that is what I've always gone for. I've never looked back ever since.
Yeah, beautiful.
But I never knew that I'd be in environmental law specifically.
Yeah.
If anything, throughout the 4 years of my undergraduate degree,
You didn't know.
I really
So how did you make that
know.
decision? How did you?
Well, there's lots of modules that you get exposed to.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But the kind of person that I've been always is to try something different. That has always
Unique.
been...
I can see.
That's always been sort of like the underlying principle that I live according to. So I just try to always walk the road less traveled. So at the end of my 4 years, I was in a position where I was sort of forced to think about what I'm going to pursue in my master's degree, because that's the first time that you get to actually specialize in something. And so I thought to myself, well, what haven't I been exposed to? What would I like to know a little bit more about? And that's how environmental law came about. And when I tried it, I fell in love.
Sure, that's so beautiful.
Amazing. So you seem super passionate about what you do, man.
Thanks.
I mean, also, in your line of work, I mean, again, I think we always have to ask this question. I mean, what are some of the, let's say, the issues that you have again, just going about finding things in terms of the environmental law, in terms of the water law? What are some of the problems on your side?
Sure, there are so many problems that we always complain of, and at all times it's always a bit disheartening in the job that we do, because we know the people that we work for, and those are communities. It's usually the less fortunate, etc. And the kinds of injustices that they experience are very dire.
Yeah.
But the process of having laws put in place for those kind of injustices to be seen, to be removed, is quite a long process, and so you have to sort of endure throughout your progression to try and get to where you want to be. So time factors are always such a hindrance to the objective that you so eagerly want to reach. And so those are sort of like the biggest problems, and also just having decision makers who just aren't making the right decisions.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
And so
just do it.
just do the right thing. And so at all times you try to strategize as to how to go about one cause in different ways to try and get to that same objective.
Sure. Then you're also a member of the South African Water Caucus.
Yes.
Can you please tell us about that? And I mean, where did the passion and love for the environment stem from?
So the South African Water Caucus is basically a representative from each province of people who've been chosen in those provinces to come together obviously from a water space. It's a bunch of people in different NGOs, environmental NGOs, and we together form then the South African Water Caucus. So we meet twice a year to just go through the different issues that all communities are experiencing on a water perspective, and to see what else we can do in terms of getting government again to do the right things, in terms of making those laws, and also seeing to those laws being protected and fulfilled at the end of the day. So that is the South African Water Caucus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now again, I mean, this is a youth show. Again, we have lots of youngsters who
Yes,
are
of
watching the show
course.
right now. I mean, if anyone who is basically at home, like you guys at home back right now, I mean, if they want to get into environmental law, tell me, what would you advise them? I mean, for someone who's in the industry, you've seen what it's all about. What is some of the pearls of wisdom you can give to some of the guys who still want to get into it?
Well, as a former lecturer at the
Lovely.
University of the Free State,
just
Drop knowledge on them.
yeah.
Drop knowledge on them.
I can speak at length to young people. But I think the pearls of wisdom that I have are the pearls of wisdom that they've probably heard many times before.
Yeah.
But they are just so important that they're worth mentioning over and over again. So always be true to yourself, regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah.
Stay true to yourself. Secondly, do the things that make you happy and nobody else. And in whatever it is that you do, be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Sure.
And also just try and take the road less traveled. I mean, especially in the law space. The law space is highly saturated. Every second person has an LLB, and every third person has an LLM, which is a master's in law. So take the road less traveled.
Yeah.
Try to do something different. And at the end of the day, in all things that you do your best.
Perfect
I think
advice.
that
I
advice
feel
we
so
incorporate in
motivated.
life.
I want to
We
go
can
study
incorporate
right
those
now.
things in life. You know that.
So cool. And the less travel thing is so important because a lot of people goes where it's
Mainstream,
crowded.
yeah.
Because I
Exactly,
mean, it's
exactly.
nice. It looks like fun. And it's sometimes
Exactly.
hard to do the less travel thing because you're looking at the crowd and you're like, I want to be there. But I mean,
Yeah.
it gets you on top of the end of the day. So what keeps you motivated?
Exactly.
Just a last one. What keeps you motivated and going at the end of the day?
Oh my, so many reasons.
Ah.
It's from upbringing to the people that empower me and who also motivate me to keep going.
Sure.
And just the people that I work for, they also keep me going. The work that I do, I'm passionate about.
Okay, man.
So it's a lot
Lovely.
of things that keep me going
All,
on a daily basis.
all the best for the work.
Yes.
And
Thank you
continue to do
very
the amazing work
much.
that you have been doing.
Yes.
Continue to
Thank you.
spread that positive energy that
Thank you
so
so
badly
much.
have, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
man.
it. Yeah,
And
I
if-
feel inspired.
And if any young person wants to get in touch with us, by all means,
Please.
www.cer.org.za. CEA, they'll see actually, as of today, it's the last day for open day, which is going to be on
Yeah.
Friday if they want to apply. Young people,
Awesome.
we are
Young people
inviting
apply.
them into our offices. Come and
Lovely.
see what we do and just interact with us.
Awesome.
Awesome
Thank
stuff,
you so
man.
much for joining us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. People, if you guys are not inspired after this, and I don't know, you got the website, people, join them in, and I feel so positive after this.
Super
for
positive.
Sure.
Thank
so
you
people,
so
we're
much.
taking a quick
Thank
ad
you.
break. Don't go anywhere. We've got the expression session after this.
Right after this.